You are now entering Nick and Mello's hyperspace.
Hello, I am Carmelo.
I am Nick.
In our journeys through hyperspace, we examine everything and anything Star Wars from the point of view of two lifelong fans, one young, one old, who came together through the will of the Force.
In this special episode, we're going to talk about my adventures at DragonCon 2024. Actually, Carmelo did not get to attend this year.
I got really sick.
Due to some sickness, but I did get to attend with my wife Haley and a good friend Chris. So I wanted to kind of talk about that experience, share some stuff with you guys. And then we do have some major announcements and updates about the future of our podcast. As you guys know, we've, typically do a fall season, as we like to call them. I usually start dropping episodes probably around this time, September, October. Life has been chaotic for the both of us this year, and it's been kind of hard to record. Season 4 is temporarily on pause, and we hope to do that next year. So fall of 25 is when we hope to start releasing those. Have some plans, so the podcast is not going away completely. I have some things in the works and going to experiment with some things. Personally, myself, we mentioned earlier in an earlier episode, I graduated school this summer, working towards getting my social work license. I have an exam coming up by the end of the year, so that's going to take up some of my time. Hello has some big plans too. I'll let him explain.
Yes. I am in the middle of writing a book for Bloomsbury Press on a wonderful Mexican rock band, and that is due later this fall, and I gotta dedicate my time for that. And once I'm done with that, then I'm flying out to Asia, and I'm going to be teaching in Taiwan for a semester as a Fulbright scholar. So this year is very, very, very busy. But we didn't want to... Say that again?
Congratulations on the scholarship.
Thank you. Oh, it's very exciting.
I know you're looking forward to it. I know you got denied in the past, so
yes. And so it was really nice.
Big deal for you to get this
second time.
Yeah.
Time worked.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very excited about that.
I'm excited for you.
I'm excited for myself. But it requires a lot of paperwork, and once I'm in Asia, it's going to be really difficult for me to do a typical season.
And
I am going to be joining Nick for a few things. I'm hoping to join you guys for the review of Skeleton Crew after that show is over. Mm-hmm. And there might be a few other things that I might be joining you with. But our plan is that Nick would be sort of holding the reins of the podcast with a series of guest speakers and good friends that we have to talk about lots of things that are happening between 24 and 25. Because 25 is an exciting year of anniversaries, as you'll soon discover. And so we will continue doing things. The podcast will remain active, but our season will not be a regular season. And we'll resume season 4 in 2025, in the fall of 2025, after I'm back from Taiwan, and after Nick Conrad is a licensed social worker.
So he didn't want the podcast to die. We enjoyed doing it. Life happens. This isn't our full-time thing. So this is just something we do for fun and the goodness of our hearts. Wanted to keep it alive. Have fun doing this. We love talking about Star Wars.
Yes.
I have fun guests coming up. We have some familiar faces you guys have seen in the past. They're going to join us again for some special episodes. New guests that I've talked about that we're going to mention them at some people I met at DragonCon. So we're going to have some new faces, some old faces, and it'll kind of just be a rotating cast of characters. I'm going to be the main character, I guess. Carmelo will pop in occasionally when he can. Try some new stuff too. Maybe some stuff we haven't done in the past. Maybe some more. As newer comics come out, we may try to talk about those. Some anniversaries of, as Carmelo mentioned, next year of Peace with Revenge of the Sith and Force Awakens. And I have Carmelo on some of those episodes. Then we have book anniversaries, which we haven't really done, but I noticed we're getting to that point where it's been 10 years since some of our favorite books have come out. So we're going to talk about some of those, and we're just going to experiment, try new things, see what works. Definitely didn't want the podcast to go away just because, our life we got exciting opportunities in our lives, and we didn't want it to go away completely, and wanted to give you guys some stuff to talk about. And Star Wars isn't stopping releasing things, so we didn't want to fall too far behind. They're not slowing down, so we're not going to slow down either. We're going to keep trucking along and figuring things out as we go. It may not be as frequently loaded as we have in the past, but we're still going to release things. Keep you guys satisfied.
Next year is the year of Andor. And I will I will swim across the Pacific to talk about Andor.
Hopefully you don't have to do that. We'll figure something out.
I am very excited. Very excited. It's going to be an exciting year. So
Yeah.
we'll be around. We'll just be around in a different way for a few months, and then we'll resume once I come back in the summer.
And hopefully back to normal schedules.
Get our gear.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, on to Dragon Con.
Yeah.
So, audience, I have not really talked to Nick about of the weekend, so this is new to me too. We just sort of fun. I've seen a few pictures. He's told me a few things, but for the most part, I am part of the audience today.
Yeah.
And so, Nick, I might be asking you questions as you talk, but I'm just really excited to hear about this amazing conference. It is, if you haven't been to Dragon Con, guys,
it's a lot of fun.
And you're a Star Wars fan, okay, you have a pilgrimage.
Go.
You have a pilgrimage to do.
Definitely want to go.
This is the one. Celebration is awesome, but Dragon Con is amazing.
So, yeah, for those of you that don't know, Dragon Con happens every year, Labor Day weekend. It's a 5-day event now. Starts the Thursday before Labor Day, and Labor Day is the last day of the con. This is my 3rd year going. Carmelo came last year, first time, and I've been to C2E2. I've been to NugaCon. Those are both great. Different. Dragon Con is, I think, from what a lot of people have told me, a different
it's a different beast.
Other conventions usually are in one central location. Dragon Con is not. It is spread across hotels and then a vendor hall. And a lot of people, I think they said this year around 75,000 people attended.
Oh my God.
So that's about average, apparently. Last year,
were the lines to the market equally insane?
So I have a fun story about that. So we'll get to that. I dedicated a whole day to that because we knew it would take some time.
Right.
That was a fun experience. We just had a lot of fun. I tried to do a couple different things that I didn't do in the past. It was a lot of fun. So attended. My wife Haley attended. A good friend of mine named Chris attended. 3 got an Airbnb in the suburbs of Atlanta instead of driving all the way back. For those of you who don't know, I live an hour and a half from Atlanta, and that's a long drive every day. So we just got an Airbnb about 20 minutes outside of the hotels, not too far. 3 of us stayed. Chris's brother Paul stayed with us for a couple nights, and he went to the convention for a couple days with us. Had a lot of fun. It was fun experiencing it with somebody who Chris had been when he was younger, because he used to live in that area. He was a kid. He had went, and it's been many years. He's now in his 20s. So experiencing it again is kind of he was kind of blown away. He's like, I don't remember it being so big, but pretty wild. But he enjoyed himself. We had a lot of fun. I'll start from Thursday. So I have a funny story about our Airbnb. Found our Airbnb not too difficult. Airbnb itself was nice. Accommodated our space, was great. Had everything we needed. The thing that was tricky was the road we were on, very small and narrow. It was like a bunch of like duplexes. Airbnb was at the very end of the road. We got there, the city was doing something with like the fire hydrant, something with the water. Public Works was out there, and the road was kind of blocked, so we had to like narrowly, one car could fit on this small road, go around. And anyway, we got there, we settled in, and before we went to go get our badge pickups, and I had a panel Thursday night at 7. So we dropped our stuff off, then we went to go get something to eat before we went to the con. So as we're leaving the end of the road, we could see it where we're standing, our car is. The water main just exploded, and a gust of water shot up like 30 feet in the air. Guys were freaking out, and we were like, is this for real? We were blown away. It affected our water for a few hours, but we were gone mostly while it was affected. It's just mind-blowing. We were like, I don't know. The Airbnb, like I said, was nice. We're like, man, this might have been a terrible time to book this spot, because who knows if the water's going to be messed up. We don't know if they're going to block off the road, because we're going to be coming and going all weekend. We're not really staying there except to sleep at night.
Were you staying in a house?
It was like a duplex, so like it was like a
a townhome.
Townhome, yeah, basically.
Okay.
So
Okay.
and it just, like I said, it was nice, but that was just like, what did we get ourselves into? We were very confused. So anyway, we were able to get out while the water main was 30 feet in the air. And we got back, it was already like later in the night. So it was gone, and the water, I think they had got the problem solved, because it was probably like 3-something in the afternoon when that happened. We got back around like 9:30, 10 o'clock that night. It was already fixed, but I felt bad for the poor city employees. Like you could just tell they were like, what the hell?
Wow.
Story. We took videos of it, and it's like, I can't believe this. But I'm going to show the videos. I didn't get that video. Chris took the video, but
Now, which panel did you do on Thursday?
Thursday panel was analyzing the Jedi Code.
Yes.
Fun panel. I was very nervous because Thursday the room was packed. There was no way to sit. We're standing in the back. Some panels, and as you probably remember, panels it's like nowhere, and then some panels there's like plenty of room. Like so, it just kind of depends. I wasn't expecting a Thursday evening panel to be packed because I figured.
Yeah, but it is the Jedi Code.
It is, and really fun. It was mainly like a Q&A. We kind of broke down the code for word, kind of for line. And I was not confident in because I didn't really thought about it. I just kind of took it for face value for what it is. We had a lot of interesting questions, really good audience, just a lot of fun insight things I never thought of. So not my favorite panel I've been on, but it was a fun one.
Okay.
It was Thursday. Friday.
And the only thing that you did on Thursday was the panel.
Was that panel? Yeah.
Okay.
Chris's brother Paul had met us at the Airbnb. We went and picked his badge up, and then we kind of walked around for a little while, looked at some cosplayers, just kind of took it all in because Friday's really when it starts picking up. Everybody's there. They start getting really busy, and then in the afternoon we did a Phantom Menace panel. 25-year anniversary, and we did an episode on that earlier this year, so that was a really fun one too. E.K. Johnston was on the panel. Actually got to meet her the next day.
Fun.
Or no, it was the same day. I got to meet her the same day.
Okay.
That panel, she had a book signing, so I went over to a different hotel to get my copy of Crimson Climb signed. About that in a sec.
And was the panel part of the panels that are in the Star Wars room?
Oh, yes. Sorry. Let me backtrack. Yes. Those of you who don't know that have never been to Dragon Con, I have what they call tracks. So like they have like a animation track, a sci-fi track, a puppetry track. That was a Star Wars track. And C2E2 don't really have a lot of panels compared to Dragon Con. Dragon Con has like a panel pretty much.
Shame C2E2.
Every part of the day there's a panel, it seems like.
Yep.
And the Star Wars track, shout out to Brandy. She's the director of the Star Wars track. She's a very awesome woman. Put together really awesome topics and discussions. A lot of cool things there. So the Star Wars track it's at the Marriott in Atlanta. You would go up, and I think it's on the third floor. Towards the back of the building, there's like a little corner, and there's a room that's all the Star Wars panels are in. And outside of the room, there's a little like open space, usually where cosplayers hang out. The droid builders, droid builders. They had a lot of cool ones, different ones this year. That's kind of where they hang out, and that's where all the Star Wars things are. So that's kind of where when we go to Dragon Con, we like to hang in that area. We did that panel. It was Friday afternoon, and really fun insight. The panelists were very diverse. We had E.K. Johnston was there. Had a couple people that were just fans, but we had two people actually involved that worked at ILM. He was a model maker for the Phantom Menace.
Oh wow!
He had a lot of cool insight about behind the scenes working on the movie. And then we had a guy he was part of the marketing team for the Phantom Menace.
Oh wow!
He talked about
that's a nice combination of people.
Yeah, it was really interesting to hear their side of it, working for the movie, like how they got hired at Lucasfilm, and they kind of experienced like it explained was even them, they didn't even know what the movie was going to be about. They were that secretive. Said that if you did read the movie, you had to sign a big NDA, and they would let you read the script in a locked room, and you couldn't leave. If you left the room, like to use the bathroom, they're like, you're not coming back. So it was very secretive.
Oh my goodness.
Maker. I wish I had gotten their names, but I do not remember them off my head.
That's okay.
They were really fascinating insight into the production of the movie. Model Maker had talked about while he was working on the racing the movie, the big arena, said that there would be like helicopters flying and like with cameras trying to like see what they're working on and see what they're doing.
Oh my.
So they would have to like stop production some days and kind of like get them to leave. And it was like paparazzi were always around. People were like looking, trying to like peer through the fence and see what they're doing.
Of course.
It was a different world we lived in that time. I lived through it, but I didn't understand the magnitude of a new Star Wars coming, like we talked about.
It was right. Exactly. It was like coming back of Star Wars. Yeah.
And the movie that a lot of people were anticipating, and one of the biggest anticipated movies ever. It was just fun insight. We got to watch the original trailer. That was really cool.
Oh yeah, that's a fun trailer.
It's about like some of the fun marketing stuff, like the merchandise and some of the tie-in material, the Jar Jar candy.
I never heard of that.
Fun to picture and show you. It was basically like a Jar's head, and you would press a button, and his tongue would shoot out, and it was a sucker. It was disgusting. It was very fascinating.
Okay.
Fun panel. We didn't do as many of the Star Wars track panels this year, but that was the only one we did on Friday.
Okay.
Then Friday we kind of just hung around, same thing. Just watched cosplayers, interacted with some folks. Friday was my favorite day of the week.
Okay.
The best day. Saturday morning, I have a panel at 11:30, and remember, you and I and Haley last year got stuck in the parade.
Yes.
Dragon Con every Saturday morning. Again, they do a big parade that goes through town Atlanta. And this year, we got there super early till the parade started to avoid it. We parked through the parade before it even started, so we were lucky there. He also has what they call the Walk of Fame, which is where all the celebrities will hang out, where you can get autographs, some merchandise signed. If you don't know, Manny Jacinto, who played the Stranger, he had announced about a week before that he was going to Dragon Con, and the Dragon Con announced it. A couple other Star Wars actors in there. He was the one I was desperate to meet. So the hall opened at 10 o'clock, so we waited in line, and got in there, and my panel didn't start till 11:30. So we stood by his booth in a line of people, waited till he got there to meet the man himself, the Stranger, Chimera.
Wow.
Very kind and gentle man. That's how good of an actor he is, because I could not see somebody so nice, someone so villainous. He's really gentle, really fun. He mentioned it was his first ever convention, so he had never been to a convention before.
Wow.
But we got lucky. People there in line brought helmets for him to sign, like the Stranger's helmet.
Oh, wow.
I was wondering, and one of the ladies that was doing the autographs with him, she's like, "Are those? I thought those hadn't released yet." And no, all these people had made the helmet, and they were really cool. And he took time to talk to everybody, like he was actually genuine. I felt
That's beautiful.
very nice guy. I got an autograph signed from him.
Okay.
And it shook his hand, and that made my morning. So after that, we went straight up to the Marriott, third level, to the my Bad Batch panel. That was our farewell to the Bad Batch, and it was a very good panel. I'm biased completely. I think this was the best panel I've been a part of in Dragon Con, and maybe even seen. Everybody was polite, respectful of the Bad Batch. The audience was incredible, asked wonderful questions. It flowed so nicely. Like, it flowed like we were there for an hour, but it felt like it was just 10 minutes because it was just so good.
Who moderated that panel?
Friend of our podcast, Kyle, moderated that.
Nice.
We were on a panel with last year. Her name was Jess, the one that played as Tech last year.
Oh, yes, I remember.
She was there. Yeah, she was wonderful. She cosplayed as Rogue from X-Men this time. Looked fantastic. She had the stripe in her hair and everything.
Oh, that's great.
Other people I met, a girl named Holly, has her own podcast called My Life on Exegol, and she started it because it was during COVID, and she started kind of reading Star Wars books over time. So she felt isolated, and it was a clever name. I love Holly. She was very fun. She has 17 Star Wars tattoos. And
wow,
a few myself, but I was impressed. So many fun tattoos.
I have none.
Well, I have to definitely very wonderful, very kind.
That's great.
She brought an interesting view to the panel because her father was in the military, so brought like a military view.
Oh, that's
of,
nice.
Like, seeing her father, her service, and kind of readjusting to life, and kind of hit home for her watching the Bad Batch.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It was really a wonderful insight too. Veterans were also in the crowd, asking questions and talking about how much they connected with the Bad Batch and other clones. I think the person, her name was Robin. He works for a non-profit called Color of Fandom, based out of Raleigh, North Carolina. I really want Robin on a podcast with you because you two would have a blast.
This is the woman who was moderating.
She was moderating
one of the panels I was going to be, the one on diversity and representation. Yeah, for the audience, I was going to be in a diversity and representation panel.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to be on a panel about the influence of legends in canon.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking forward to both of them, but I was way too sick to hop on a plane. But I would love to meet Robin at some point.
It's wonderful. Her nonprofit, the way she described it to me, is kind of, they advocate for people to feel represented in their respective fandoms. So and then feel like their voice is heard. To have her on to talk about her work, because it sounds like a really fun idea. I've never heard of it.
Really interesting.
Never heard of a nonprofit doing this.
Didn't know that there was something like that, right?
No,
right.
He had a lot of cool insight about the diversity of like clones and their accents and culture. So Beautiful panel.
That's great.
During the panel,
Well attended, I hope.
not as much as the first one I had, but
Okay.
I feel like the crowd was probably about half filled. The room was, but the crowd that was there made it feel full.
And probably being Saturday morning and right after the parade,
Yeah, that probably had something
that
to do
just
with
sort
it.
of doesn't make it as crowded. Yeah.
During the panel, about halfway through, Georgia 501st members popped in, and there was the Bad Batch. So
Oh wow!
I interrupted. Everyone got excited, and then we all got our picture taken with the Batch afterwards.
I saw those pictures online.
Yeah, next to Crosshair because that's my favorite. Everybody else was like near Tech, but I had to be near Crosshair. Full panel, and I just loved all of them pieces. It was like lightning in a bottle. I don't know if we could recreate that magic. Wish you could have been there. I think you would have had a lot of fun with that one.
It would have been wonderful.
And
I would have been very proud of you being up there. That would have been fun.
Thank you. And then Saturday.
What else on Saturday? Did you do anything at night?
Something in the evening. It started about 5:30. This was another highlight. We went to one of the panels called, I think it's called the Stars of the Star Wars Universe or something like that.
Oh, yes.
Big panel with 4 actors there. So we had Danny Trejo, the Rancor Keeper,
right?
Manto, the Stranger, Giancarlo Esposito, Moff Gideon.
Oh, wow.
Asha Lu Bordizio, Lash, and Sabine Wren. So
right.
All there, and I have a lot of fun. I realized how old Danny Trejo was. He's in his 80s. And,
he's been around.
He's been around for a long time. You could tell at this panel, he could hardly hear the questions that were asked.
Oh, no.
He sat next to Manny, so anytime they asked a question for Manny, he thought they said Danny. He would answer. He was the star of that panel. He was hilarious. He had a lot of funny things to say.
Danny or Manny?
Danny Trejo,
okay.
Yeah, Mr. Trejo. Okay. He had a lot of funny things to say. He talked about getting to hold Baby Yoda for the first time, and when they told him it was $2 million, the puppet itself cost $2 million, he said, "Put this thing down. I don't want to touch this damn thing." He was absolute joy on stage.
What fun.
My favorite part of the panel, I think I mentioned this to you offline, is the people that I talked to at this convention that had either worked on Star Wars or heard them talk about their experience working for Lucasfilm and Star Wars, all talk very glowingly and positively. And that to me is a lot, because this is not DragonCon's not a Star Wars or Lucasfilm, Disney did operation or mention. So hear them talk about them while they're not around is kind of really eye-opening. And they all talked about actors was their joy of working with Lucasfilm on the way they're filmmaking now, the way that the technology has progressed, new things that they're trying with filmmaking. I know a lot of people have complaints about some of the Disney Plus shows and how they look and how they feel and all that, but actors are like blown away by what they're able to do and put on film. Well, especially Giancarlo and Danny, who they're much older. They've been in this industry for many years,
right?
So they've seen a lot of changes, and they both had glowing things to say about the volume and like the first time stepping onto the volume and how incredible it was and just like mind-blowing it was. And that to me as a Star Wars fan was nice to hear, because much as changed over the years when it comes to like technology and the way we live. It's nice to hear that Star Wars and Lucasfilm is still trying to push the boundaries and trying to be innovative, trying to set the standard for filmmaking. To me, it just kind of goes all the way back to 1977 when Lucas made the original. So
was there any sort of new information in that panel from the actors?
Nothing new.
Okay.
I'll say this, talking to Jacinto when I met him earlier that day, and my wife had told him how much we enjoyed the show and how before we look forward to it each week, and very and thankful for that. You could tell in his voice, talking to him and then listening to him on stage, he is very disappointed in the way the show was canceled. His birthday was I think the show was canceled on his birthday, which was cool news. I saw a lot of people were bringing him like birthday cards and small gifts and pins, and was very kind. He really enjoyed that, and you could just tell in his voice, because at one point one of the questions was like, "Where do you think your character ends up?" And he said it was something like, I've loved a scene where he kept using past tense. He really didn't ask questions about the future of the Acolyte or him.
Well, right.
They were being respectful, but you could just tell in his voice it was kind of like disappointed.
No, of course. I mean, and he did a marvelous job.
Yeah.
Having such an amazing character developed in that show, and then just sort of cut it loose and not move on. It's sad. Really terrible.
It's terrible. But it's about their panel. I didn't attend that. He said his life mission now. He said this at DragonCon. Life mission is to get season 2 happen one day.
Oh goodness. Okay.
Hope he does it. I would love to see him return. Love to see all those characters return. We talked about in our Acolyte episode how much we loved it. There's so much more to tell with those
Oh, there's
characters.
tons of
Tons
absolutely.
of stuff, and it was just a pleasure. He was the highlight of the weekend for me, meeting him. So
was Sunday the big market day?
it was the big vendor hall day. Got there an hour before they opened, and the line was already formed. I was like, oh man, we get there about an hour early. Maybe we'll be one of the first in line. We didn't wait too long though. We didn't have to wait as long. We got in there like before they opened. They kind of had the line up into the building, and then as soon as the vendor hall doors opened, we were one of the first to go in. So,
that's pretty good then.
So it wasn't too bad.
That's pretty good.
We just kind of walked around, spent the whole day there to see wonderful artists. I attended a panel that morning as well. I didn't know they had panels there. So I saw on the app the night before that there was a Star Wars comics panel. I love the Star Wars comics. So I went, and it was about 11:30 that morning, and it was a few of the artists. I don't remember their name. I did win a fun art piece during that panel. I asked an awesome question, so the moderator gave me an art piece. So that was kind of fun.
Oh, fun!
Jason Aaron was there. For those that don't know, Jason Aaron started the 2015 Star Wars run. He didn't get to finish it, but he did about the first 30 or 40 issues.
Yep.
Great comic book writer. He's done awesome work other places like for Marvel and DC. The Jane Foster Thor character, that's kind of his baby, his creation. And that was used in Thor Love and Thunder. That whole story was basically off his comics. So then Charles Soule was also there, his first Dragon Con.
His first Dragon Con,
and he talked about how this was.
He comes to C2E2 almost every year. Interesting.
He travels around a lot.
Interesting.
First Dragon Con, he said this was like a con he's never experienced. He said it was
curious,
the coolest cons he's ever been to. He had nothing but positive things to say about Dragon Con.
It's great.
And there was a comic book artist who had worked on the the Dark Horse comics in like the 90s, early 2000s, around the prequel time. So really cool, really interesting to hear their stories.
Was Ostender, was he one of them?
No. It was, I can't remember. His name was Omar Francisco or Fenrico. I can't remember his name. He worked on the Star Wars Legacy comics.
I have not
ones
read
that
those
were
either.
Yeah, they're ones that are set far in the future.
Yeah.
There was another one who was kind of just he did a lot of like marketing for like the movie posters and some of the figure lines and stuff like that.
It's fun to have a whole panel on comics and Star Wars.
And art. Awesome. Yeah. And he had been working on Star Wars, he said, since like 96. So said right after he got out of art school, that was his first job, and he's been there since. So they had a lot of fun insight. And two, they had talked about, like the actors did, how fun it is to work for Lucasfilm, how great it is that let them kind of be creative and let them try new things, actually encourage them to try new things. They don't want to retread a lot of the same planets or characters or things like that. So it's really cool to see.
That's great.
The question I asked was for mainly Charles Soule and Jason Aaron, but I had said, are there any characters that you've created that you feel like you have like a personal ownership of? Aaron said Sana Staros. It was his little.
She's amazing.
She's a great character. He said he would like to write her again one day. He came back to do a story in the Darth Vader Black, White, and Red last year. The door will be open. He's currently working on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, so maybe he'll come back to Star Wars. I love his work. Everything I've read from him is incredible. Charles Soule, he said most of the High Republic characters that he's created, Avar Chris, he said that's kind of one of his favorites and feels ownership towards, and talked about a little bit about writing Tales of the Jedi, the last High Republic book, and he said he's getting towards the end, and he feels like it's all coming together beautifully, and he's excited for people to see. He didn't really go into detail, obviously, but just hearing him to say that was nice to hear. So
that's exciting.
That was a fun panel. It was a very small one too. There was probably like 20 of us in the room. So, and I got there because I thought there would be a line. Got there and the room was completely empty. Nobody was even in there. So we just kind of hung around.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. I was nice. I got a.
Well, I mean, sorry for them, for the authors, because it would have been fun to have a larger audience there. Yeah.
We didn't even have to use microphones because it was that small. We could just talk openly.
Was it a very large room or not?
Very big room, but
good.
Probably could sit.
So it didn't feel empty.
It didn't feel empty. No.
Okay.
But it was cool to be. I got one of the front row seats, so it was kind of nice to be there, and a cool art piece I'll show off here in a few minutes. But
And any highlights from the March itself? Were there any new artists that you had not seen
Not
before? Or
really. I've seen a lot of familiar ones. See Bash, the one that makes the Grogu pins.
yes,
Finally got the Bad Batch set, all of them. I was excited about that. Pins was there too. I didn't buy anything this year from her. I had to just look and see some of her new stuff.
yeah, her stuff is amazing.
I love her stuff. It's two of my favorite like creators when it comes to like merchandise. So that was pretty much the mart. We just kind of spent the day there, and then after we kind of left around 4 or 5 o'clock. We were kind of just tired from walking all day, so we just kind of went home, hung out at the Airbnb, enjoyed our time, and that was kind of our weekend. So we left.
Did you go on Monday at all or not?
We left Monday morning. We had to be out of the Airbnb by 12, so we just left. I did want to go to some panels on Sunday that would have been cool.
There were some interesting ones on Monday. It was originally I was going to fly back Sunday morning anyway, so I was not going to be able to see anything.
The Sunday panels I wanted to go to was the night one. I think it was like 7 or 8 o'clock at night, and it was like fierce females in Star Wars. That would have been cool.
Yeah,
and I cannot remember the other one. It was the bad childhoods in Star Wars or something like that.
Yes.
Wanted to be on that panel. I didn't get a chance to, but they had some interesting people on the panel. Fun. My social work background would have been kind of fun to hear what others have to say about it.
Of course.
So we were just tired, and so let's just go grab a bite to eat and go home. So that's what we did.
Well, I am crossing all of my fingers so I don't get sick next year.
You can attend.
Because I will be coming back from Taiwan at the end of June, so I will be around for Dragon Con.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that I can do it next year.
For those of you that are interested, you liked my experiences, tickets are on sale right now. So for next year.
Yep.
So
Yep.
They're usually really cheap right now. I think till
They're
the
very
end of
cheap. Yes.
the end of September is when the price starts going up. So hopefully you'll go ahead and get them if you're interested. Maybe we'll see you there next year.
You know how much they are right now?
I haven't looked yet. So I may try to buy them by the end of the month, but I haven't looked yet. So
okay. Well, thank you. Now you had some stuff to show.
It was okay. I'm going to share my screen real quick, and then we will. This is a new software we're using, people. So give us just a second.
Our apologies. Well, we can edit all this out.
All right. So I just kind of uploaded them. I don't know what. Can you see my screen, Carmelo?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay. So the audience, for those of you watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see all this. If you're listening on audio, I recommend you to go to YouTube and watch it for yourself. Here's the first picture here. We got me and Hu Yank, a new builder make they had this year. He does not walk, unfortunately, but his head moves, his shoulders moves, his eyes blink. And that was the first thing I saw on my Thursday when I got there, so I just had to go take a picture
I was
with the professor.
To see that.
He was incredible. I absolutely adored that. At the vendor hall, met a fun Daredevil cosplayer. I'm a big Daredevil fan, for those of you that don't know. This was like season 1 Daredevil. I think you watched that season, if I'm not mistaken, Carmelo.
I have. Yeah.
So that's the black costume that Daredevil wears.
Right.
My autograph from Manny Jacinto.
Oh wow!
Got to meet the man. That was again a highlight. I love that picture too.
And the famous guns.
The famous.
Oh my God, those biceps! Oh wow!
Well, if you have seen this movie, I don't know if we've talked about it. Have you ever seen The Emperor's New Groove, Carmelo? Okay, so Kronk and Yzma, you're very familiar. Love these characters. They are hilarious, and I just saw them when I was in line to get food, so I had to stop them and pictures. They were very popular at the little food court there we were at. Seen Shrek. That is Lord Farquaad, the big caricature they made of him in the movie.
That's awesome.
This little kid was a delight. I don't know if you're familiar with Dragon Ball Z, Carmelo.
I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. No.
Okay, so this is my favorite character from the series. The little kid was just dressed up as him, and I had to get his picture. He loved it that I complimented his costume. He said he made that himself, him and his mom. It looks really good.
Oh wow!
Looks very much like the character. Oh, there's another. So there's me with a R5 that has been painted and customized and graffiti all over. I love the little face. There's so many fun little stickers on him. There's like a Gungan sticker, a Mon Calamari sticker, all kinds of fun little stuff.
How fun.
Old Man Luke. This is the second best.
He's been here. That's it. He's been here. Yeah, he's been.
Okay.
He's been.
Has he? Okay. Well, he's the second best old man Luke Skywalker I've ever seen. My first one is the man I'm talking to now, Carmelo.
When I first met him, you know the little pocket that Luke Skywalker has on his right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had made it in my cosplay for putting my cell phone.
Oh, cool.
He had a little jug of whiskey in there.
Well, after Luke's experiences, he probably needs a drink or two. He was a delight.
He's really nice.
Small
and he's
world.
been to Celebration. And
that's a small world. A fun Poe Dameron that I came across.
Oh.
Love the helmet there. That's a great
design.
Yes,
that's a nice helmet.
I think he was one of the ones that asked a question during the Bad Batch panel, actually. So
okay.
See, is a
oh my goodness.
And Sabine Wren. He actually, I don't know if you can see it in this picture, but he actually got the helmet signed by Natasha Liu Bordizio.
Okay.
Right after we took this picture of him. So he was
cool.
a fun gentleman.
Cool.
Dr. Aphra.
Oh yeah, you sent me that one. Yeah, that was fun.
There was quite a few Dr. Aphras. I didn't get a picture of all of them, but this one I did. I saw about 4 or 5 that same day. So,
I wonder maybe because the story just ended, there were sort of celebration of it. Maybe?
Probably so.
Interesting.
We know Aphra's super popular. Here is a Shock T and Ayla Secura.
Yes.
I didn't get pictures of my ribbons, but they gave me a ribbon that was funny. Ribbon said, I survived Order 66 and all I got was this stupid ribbon. So I loved that. They were really nice. A bunch of Loki cosplayers.
Oh, yes.
Yes. From the TV
everywhere.
show. Loki is incredible. An old school Loki that I absolutely adored. I love that costume. So I had to snap a picture. A Grand Admiral Thrawn. I saw quite a few Thrawns this year. This is
fun.
One I really got a picture of. But Timothy Zahn's always at DragonCon. He's been coming there for many years, so that explains why there's always a Thrawn around.
Yep. Although last year we didn't see that many. There were a few, but
no,
there was me, but there weren't that many.
Not as many, no.
Yeah.
Then we have a Balin and Shin.
This is just great.
Two gentlemen dressed up.
Yes.
They were wonderful. They were hilarious.
That's just marvelous.
Oh, that's me with Jar Jar. The DragonCon room this year, they had Jar Jar posted up everywhere. Outfits, and this was his hippie outfit. Like Gungan style. So it was a wonderful display. I should have taken a picture of the whole room for you.
You should have. Like
Jar Jar
a 360-degree picture.
I should have. It was Jar Jar everywhere. It was incredible.
That's great.
This was the Thursday night. Or no, I'm sorry. Yes, this was the Thursday night panel. This is right before it started, about 10 minutes before it started.
Oh, and I can see the Jar Jar at the end.
Yep, there's the Jar Jar. There's some more in the back you can see. Oops.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that was a big panel. A lot of cool folks in there. There's our Bad Batch panel crew, all of us taking a selfie.
Fun.
I think that's probably one of the ones you saw online.
So who is Robin?
Robin is the one in the middle. She's the one that took the picture there.
Okay, cool.
From last year, that's Holly, and of course we know our friend Kyle there.
Right.
So yeah, it was a fun panel. Love those people. I'd do a panel with them 100 times over. And then here's our Bad Batch.
That's when they showed up.
Yeah, I forgot to notice we even have a little Hera and a Fennec Shand there. I guess I didn't even notice them until after the picture, but I was just excited.
And that's an Omega in the middle.
That's
right?
Omega in the middle, yeah.
Okay.
And I was so excited for Crosshair, so I had to run across to stay next to him.
Right.
Here's the stars of the Star Wars Universe panel. There's all the actors there that were in attendance. We sat kind of close, but it was still kind of hard to see where we were sitting, so I just took a picture of the video board there.
Right.
It's kind of hard to see this one. Zoom in a little bit, but this here is...
For strangers?
The strangers. This is Manny Jacinto posted this himself. He took a picture of all these people that were dressed up as the stranger. These are the ones I think we stood in line next to her.
Wow.
It was really fun, really fun. There's all my Bad Batch pins. I got the whole set now. They're in my workspace, so every time I turn around behind me, they are there watching over me, and I just am glad they're there.
You're such a Star Wars fan.
Oh yeah, you see my office. Our Star Wars comics panel.
Ah, the comics. Okay.
So you see, I'm on the second row there, but there's Charles, there's Jason. It's the moderator, and then that's the guy that had worked there since '96. Joe.
Oh wow.
I saw him on Instagram. I think his name is Joe Corney.
Okay.
Very nice guy, and that's the Omar. And I don't remember this gentleman's name, but I know he was an Atlanta native. He was talking about going to see the first movie in a popular theater down here in Atlanta.
Okay.
But they were all wonderful. They were really cool insight about their experiences. There's the art piece I won at the panel.
Oh, nice.
That was done by Omar, the big fan of the Mandalorians. So I got this one. This was really cool. This is a beautiful Obi-Wan and Padme.
Yes.
Zoom in a little bit so you can see a little better. A wonderful Kylo Ren there. He loved my tattoo of the saber. A Loki Twi'lek cosplayer. I don't know if it was him, but I saw a Loki Twi'lek at Star Wars Celebration one year, and I don't know if it was the same person, but I just love that. That's just a fun little crossover there. And that's it. That's pretty
awesome.
much it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I am so sorry I was not able to join you, but I am very glad that you were able to go and that you were able to enjoy yourself so much.
Yeah. Had a blast. It was much needed.
I got the bug. Dragon Con bug last year after I went. It was sort of like, okay, this is where I need to go every year.
Well,
I could skip C2E2 to go happily.
You do a lot of walking at Dragon Con compared to C2E2. C2E2 is nice. I do enjoy that it's in one central location.
One place. Yeah.
It's kind of nice. They don't offer as much Star Wars content as Dragon Con. Nowhere near.
No.
I think
this year they had
the Rebels panel this year.
They had the Rebels panel. That's it.
10-year anniversary. And then the year we went, they had the Clone Wars 15-year panel, which was a fun panel, which was a good one. But it's
they do things like that, but that's it.
There's no like fan.
No. Brandy
puts on.
Brandy has a spot in heaven. She has a spot in heaven.
She is one with the Force.
Well, not yet. Let's not kill her.
No, not yet. But
we want her. We want her to be. We want her to be around for a long, long time.
I'm gonna mention to her.
I have never enjoyed myself so much like I did in Dragon.
Not me either.
And in a way, there are parts of Dragon Con that I enjoy more than Celebration, because Celebration is very much Lucasfilm doing things. And there are fan panels, of course, but there's something really exciting about fans organizing those panels. It's just really special. Dragon Con is really, really special.
I'm hoping I maybe talk to Brandy next year. I would love to volunteer for the Star Wars track. I would to do whatever they need me to do. I enjoy all their work. Do some fun stuff, and
they really do.
I haven't really been to a lot of the other tracks. I've been to a couple here and there, but hard to beat that Star Wars track. They just do.
Yeah, no.
All the volunteers are great,
and I've never heard any other con that does that as thoroughly as Dragon Con.
No. And they're on top of it.
I mean, San Diego has things, New York has things,
but it's nowhere near to this level.
But it's nothing like this. No. This is a life goal.
Yeah. Well,
total life goal.
Let's appreciate y'all for sitting with us and hearing my fun weekend.
Indeed.
And, be on the lookout for some changes. I'll try to post them on my Instagram. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Nick from Naboo. Let's look out for some changes. I'm hoping to experiment a little bit, hopefully in the next couple of months. As always, do the YouTube stuff. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. Getting a lot more subscribers over the last couple months. I'm excited. Hopefully we keep growing. Would love to see new faces and new voices in the podcast in the future.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Nick. Thank you for sharing all of your wonderful experiences at Dragon Con.
Thank you.
Thank you, audience, and may the Force be with you.